Now, this new flight Qantas is launching is a direct flight between London and Perth, and it will start from March 2018, and it will have a flight time of just under 17 hours. So it's definitely a long one. So what will it mean for British holidaymakers? Well, let's have a chat now to Phoebe Smith, who's the editor of Wanderlust magazine. Morning to you, Phoebe.
Morning.
So what do you make of this news? I mean, it's not sort of surprising in a way, because a lot of long-haul routes are being launched. We're seeing the first direct flight from London to Santiago, Chile, coming next year. We've had one launched direct to Lima in Peru. So long-haul is definitely big business. And we do an adventure travel conference every year and a lot of research into that. And we're finding that even in times of economic uncertainty, people still want to have their holidays. And what we're seeing is, rather than maybe a lot of smaller, shorter haul destinations, they're actually saving their money and sort of going on these bigger trips. So it does sort of fall in line with that, what we're seeing.
So do you think there'll be demand for it then?
It's difficult to say, because one, we don't know how much it's going to cost. And I had a look this morning on how much you could get a flight currently to Perth going via Dubai with Emirates. And you can get one for about £475 return, which is quite competitively priced. Now, to go on this new direct one, you'd have to pay more because it's going to cost more in fuel. There's going to have to be 2 sets of pilots on the flight. There's going to have to be extra crew. So the cost is really going to be the deciding factor, I think.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because in terms of people going to visit Australia, who are the types of people who do it then? Is it for the rich, do you think?
No, not at all. I think a lot of people do have family over there, for one. I think this is actually quite a shrewd move for Western Australia in general. We've worked with them before, and they're always trying to attract that sort of second-time visitor, because a lot of people go when they're younger, maybe when they're backpackers, and they do all the honeypots like Sydney and down the Gold Coast, and very few make it over to the West Coast. And if you look at somewhere like Iceland Air, who've made Reykjavik become a hub on the way to North America, they've seen the tourism numbers explode to the point where they're looking at putting tourism caps on numbers. So for Perth and Western Australia in general, who are trying to get numbers, it's a really good idea, because imagine if after 17 hours on a flight, you probably don't want to get on another flight straight away, even if you're going on to Sydney or somewhere. So you might go, actually, while I'm here, let's explore and see what Western Australia is all about.
17 hours is a long time, though, isn't
it? It is.
I'll get bored eventually. Thanks very much, though. That's it for me.
Only so many films you can watch.
I know. That's a lot of films, actually, isn't it?
You've wedged an awful lot of films. Year's supply.
Oh, thanks, Gareth. Carol, sorry.
That was Gareth with the business. Here's Dave with the weather. Morning, Dave.
Thanks, Mary. Good morning.